Lucas Gray was the kind of man people whispered about before he even entered the room. The kind of boss whose name alone made employees straighten their backs and lower their voices. Cold-hearted, ruthless, emotionless, that was all anyone ever said about him. The CEO of Gray Enterprises carried a silence around him that felt heavier than anger. And though his dark suits and perfect posture made him look like he belonged on magazine covers, his eyes were colder than winter rain. No one dared speak casually in front of him, no one dared joke, and certainly no one dared interrupt him until the day I accidentally spilled coffee on his $1,000 shoes. My name is Emma Carter, 23, newly hired assistant, and the girl who ruined the most expensive footwear in the entire office on my first day. The moment the cup slipped from my hand, time froze. The coffee splashed, the room gasped, and Lucas Gray lifted his head slowly, eyes narrowing like a predator assessing prey. I wanted to disappear. His voice came low and calm, which was somehow even scarier. "Miss Carter," he said, "do you often start your mornings by attacking your boss?" A few people laughed nervously. I apologized 100 times, but he simply walked past me, leaving a trail of tension behind him. I thought he would fire me. Instead, he called me into his office. I expected yelling, threats, termination, but he simply stared at me from behind his massive desk. "I don't like mistakes," he said, "but I dislike fear even more. If you work for me, you stand straight. Understood?" Something about the way he said it made my heartbeat jump. From that day on, I worked harder than I ever had. Lucas was demanding, precise, and brutally honest. He didn't smile, didn't joke, didn't soften his tone. But the longer I worked with him, the more I saw glimpses of something else, something hidden beneath the ice. Like the way he quietly left an extra umbrella on my chair the day it rained. Or how he stayed late to help me finish a report even though he pretended he didn't want to. Or how his eyes softened whenever he thought I wasn't looking. One evening, when everyone had gone home, I stayed late preparing documents for a morning meeting. I didn't hear Lucas walk in until he spoke behind me. "You should go home." His voice wasn't cold this time. "You've been working since 7 a.m., I turned around, surprised. "I need to finish this," I said. "You said the presentation has to be flawless." "I didn't mean you should tire yourself to death," he said quietly. The way he looked at me in that moment made my breath catch. He wasn't my cold-hearted boss. He was just a man tired, lonely, and trying not to show it. "I'll help you," he said. We worked side by side for an hour, and for the first time, he told me something personal. "My father never allowed mistakes," he said, eyes fixed on the screen. He said emotions made leaders weak. I didn't know what to say. So I told him the truth. Emotions make leaders human. He looked at me as if no one had ever said that to him. The next morning, he defended my part of the presentation in front of the board, even though one of the directors tried to blame me for a last-minute delay. "Miss Carter delivered exceptional work," Lucas said firmly. "If any of you have a problem, take it to me." The room went silent. That was the day I realized he wasn't cold-hearted, he was guarded. And somehow, I was the one slipping past his walls. Weeks passed, and we grew closer without ever saying it out loud. The way he held the door a second longer for me. The way he remembered my favorite coffee. The way his eyes followed me when he thought I didn't notice. One night, after a charity event, he offered to drive me home because it was raining heavily. Inside the car, the world felt strangely quiet. He loosened his tie, leaned back, and sighed. "Emma," he said, "you're the only person who makes this place feel less empty." My heart thudded. "Lucas, I know I'm not good at showing it," he continued, voice low, "but I notice everything you do, and He stopped, jaw tightening as if fighting himself. "I care about you more than I should." The confession landed between us like electricity. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know if I should. But then he looked at me with that rare softness, and I knew he meant every word. Then suddenly, headlights flashed, a loud honk roared, and in a heartbeat, another car slammed into us from the side. The world spun, metal screeched, and everything went black. When I woke up in the hospital, Lucas was sitting beside me, head in his hands. The moment he saw my eyes open, something broke in him. "Emma." His voice cracked. The cold-hearted CEO was crying. "You scared me," he whispered. "I thought I lost you." I reached for his hand. "I'm right here," He kissed my forehead gently, almost desperately. "I won't hide anymore," he said, voice trembling. "I won't pretend I don't feel anything. I almost lost you before I ever told you." "Told me what?" I whispered. He cupped my face. "That I'm in love with you." I felt warmth spread through my chest. "I love you too, Lucas." His eyes closed, relief washing over him like a storm finally passing. After that day, everything changed. Lucas wasn't suddenly soft or overly romantic. He was still the same serious, intense man, but his walls weren't aimed at me anymore. He walked me to my office every morning. He ate lunch with me even though he hated taking breaks. He touched my hand in elevators when no one was looking. He told me when he was tired, stressed, hurting. He let himself feel with me. But of course, love isn't easy, especially when the world is watching. Rumors spread. People whispered. One of the directors tried to separate us by suggesting he hire a new assistant. Lucas shut that down immediately. "Emma stays," he said firmly. "She's brilliant, loyal, and the only person I trust." Some people called me lucky. Some called me manipulative. Some said I was using him to climb the corporate ladder. The whispers hurt. The stairs burned. One afternoon, after a particularly harsh rumor, I told Lucas maybe we should distance ourselves at work. "If people think I'm taking advantage of you, it'll damage your reputation," I said softly. His jaw clenched. "Do you think I care about rumors?" "I do," I whispered, "because they hurt you." He exhaled slowly, then stepped closer. "Emma, listen to me," he said, voice firm. "You didn't change me, you healed me. You gave me something I didn't even know I needed. I won't lose you over gossip." My heart melted. A few days later, he proved it. At a major company dinner, one of the directors made a passive-aggressive comment about young employees using charm instead of qualification. Before I could defend myself, Lucas stood up. "If anyone here has a problem with my relationship," he said loudly, "take it up with me. Emma is talented, hardworking, and far more respectful than half of you who gossip behind closed doors." The room went silent. I'd never been more proud of him. Later that night, when he walked me to my apartment, he stopped at my door and said, "I don't care who knows. I just want you." And then he kissed me soft at first, then deeper, like all the emotions he had held back finally breaking free. Days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months. We built a love that was quiet but strong, intense but gentle. I learned that Lucas wasn't cold-hearted, he was wounded. A man who grew up believing emotions were weaknesses. A man who needed someone to remind him that love wasn't a liability. And I was that someone. One evening, he took me to the rooftop of the Gray Enterprises building. The city lights shimmered below us. The wind was soft and the night sky felt endless. "Emma," he said quietly, taking my hands, "you changed my life." My heart raced. "Lucas." He knelt down, my breath caught. My world stopped. "I spent years building a company," he said, voice steady. "But the best thing I ever did was fall in love with you." Tears filled my eyes as he opened a small velvet box. "Will you marry me?" I nodded, unable to speak. He slipped the ring onto my finger, stood, and pulled me into his arms. "I love you," he whispered. "More than anything." And in that moment, standing under the stars with the man everyone thought had no heart, I realized something. Lucas Gray wasn't cold-hearted, he just needed the right person to warm him. And I was that person. And he was mine.